The reason I linked with Google Plus, my YouTube account with Google Plus, I discovered eventually that one of the accounts Google had made for me, they throw 2 or 3 or 4 suggestions at you. And what I did was, eventually with one of them, I tried linking about 3 times before I eventually did link of recent. I unlinked each time because on each time I was completely unsatisfied with the way the link looked. I found that when I just casually accepted on those few times, which I eventually unlinked, none of my favourites were ported over, none of my things to watch later was ported over, none of my viewing history was ported over, none of my subs were ported over, none of my friends were ported over, nothing was ported over. It was just like a blank canvas, and I thought, this is not what I want, period. The inbox, the setting, the drop down box at the top, where you click to for it to drop down to offer you the settings and the inbox, etc, etc. The inbox, that was different, i.e. the inbox wasn't there, and all those 3 occasions I unlinked, because in the small print you discovered there's 2 weeks where you can choose the option to unlink and go back to your just basic YouTube channel, and I did on all 3 occasions. But eventually what I did was, I thought, well, I'll have a little fuck around here, and I went through each one of the suggestions, each one of the channels they created for me, and what I'd done was, in turn, was I tried to manipulate one of them to make it represent how my YouTube channel looked the best. I fucked around with it in such a way that I managed to get all my YouTube channel details ported over, so it looked how my YouTube channel then looked. So all my details are ported over, like I've just said there. My favourites, me watch laters, me watching history, me subs, all that was, I made sure that it took me ages to do it, and I had to really dig down, and I had to really, really work at it, and but eventually I managed to manipulate one of their suggestions into basically a morph of my then current channel, until I was happy with it. And then I just didn't disconnect, and that happened about 3 days ago, and I've stayed with the link set up. I'm using that channel as my Google linked account, YouTube thingy, if you know what I mean. I've remained still connected with the link. As I say, 2-3 days ago that occurred, where I successfully managed to manipulate, as I say, to make it look like how YouTube channel then looked. I've not found any inconveniences as such. Or as I say, all my business is all there how it used to be. I've not found any discrepancies between the two yet. I think I've managed to successfully morph it into how my YouTube channel, my unlinked YouTube channel, looks. I think I've managed to successfully do that, and I'm quite happy with the way it looks, it appears, and in the way it operates. Your unlinked YouTube account still exists, because I bookmarked it and it still exists. Now that's the discrepancy I had with the whole business with linking, because I knew that there would then be 2 of me, on YouTube, and that was the crux of my problem, I think, and I wasn't happy about that. I didn't want that. I didn't want that. I didn't want there to be two of me out there in YouTube, because there ain't two of me. There's only one of me. Like there's one of you, one of blah 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 blah. Right? But I've dug deep within me, and I have found that the only way that I'm ever going to be able to do things like Google Hangouts with a nice representation of me is to have done what I've done, which is, as I say, I said a few minutes ago, with all reported information, rather than just clicking on one of their suggestions and just leaving it blank and just think, well, fuck, it's linked, I can do all this, I can do all the hangouts, and I can comment and got an inbox, blah blah blah, access me comments, whatever. I didn't want that, and I wanted it to be a true representation of me. And as I say, at the moment, I'm able to handle the fact that there are now, in effect, two of me on YouTube, because besides, it's only rock and roll. Right, there are my reasons for the above, and I'll update this if I find any discrepancies, etc., etc. Okay, over and out.